as an industry, we could definitely see that, employees are
Oh yeah.
having a say in,
Yeah.
the pay rate, and they are able to push that by
Oh yeah.
numbers and or resign in large numbers. I think the pandemic impacted us in ways that we weren't ready for. I mean, it's not anything that I lived during my time until now, and I'm sure you hadn't seen
For
anything
sure.
like that before.
Yeah.
Um, it was just very different to see all those people resign, or not resign, but like take the pandemic as a way to like evaluate their work-life balance
Mm-hmm.
and look into other avenues, whether it's working from home or finding other routes of employment. But I know that during that time, we were we weren't challenged necessarily, but it was very different for us as a company,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to recruit for new people and that sort of thing. Um,
Yeah, when we're referring to the recruiting aspect, for sure there was like a huge shift in how that looked for us. That pandemic definitely was like a reset button for a lot of
right.
people, where they were working and they were comfortable and they were making a living. Maybe they weren't happy, but and their mindset was kind of like, I got to pay the bills, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then all of a sudden this pandemic happened, and we were kind of forced. A lot of people were forced to stay home and
Yeah,
find other ways to make a living. And I think that definitely opened up those avenues of like, okay, I got to do something different. I
right.
want to do something different. Now this is the opportunity for me to do something different.
And make that transition.
Yeah, definitely make that transition. And then, it definitely, that started like 3 years ago. We're still seeing
the effects that it
For
had
sure.
on us. I think also like that has long lasting effects, because there's still people that work from home. There's still people that prefer remote work versus like staying in the office for the same amount of hours.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that's gonna stay?
And I do read articles on stuff like that, and they are talking about now they're kind of seeing a slowdown and that whole migrating force of employees that are going from job to job. They are seeing a bit of a slowdown in
Yeah.
that now, where people are kind of looking for stability. In fact, I had an interview today with a young lady who was telling me that she was working from home.
Yeah.
Because of this whole pandemic situation. She found that opportunity, having kids and everything, and she loved it as long as it lasted. But she came in our office and I asked her, like, what's making you leave that position and looking for something different? And she said, well, working at home, I'm kind of tired of that now.
Yeah.
And I want to get back into the workforce, and I want to get around people and be able to have that time with actual people. Right. And so we are kind of seeing that. And one of the words that she used was stability. She's looking for that stability. And so we are kind of seeing that a bit of a slowdown with the whole migration and all of that, and seeing people looking for a little bit more of stability, and whether that's working from home or working in an office, but they are looking to kind of, okay, I'm getting a little tired of jumping around, going from job to job. And now I kind of just want to find my place and make my home. So we are kind of seeing a little bit of a slowdown, but we're definitely still seeing the effects, especially in the recruiting world, where people are still, they start a job today, and then, come Monday, they're looking for a new job because they didn't like, a certain aspect of the job that they have now.
Yeah. I mean, definitely working from home isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
Some people don't have the equipment to work from home. But yeah, I mean, I feel like companies should also make it more inviting to get back to the office.
Yeah.
And do things to attract more people to do that sort of thing.
Yeah. We are seeing that in the workforce, in a lot of workplaces, where they're kind of getting rid of that cubicle mentality, where like, this is your workspace, do your job.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of offices, a lot of workplaces changing that mentality, making it more, come on in, we're a family.
Yeah.
And making time to like, hey, let's just, it doesn't always have to be work. We can have fun, we can goof around and talk a little bit while we're doing work. And we walk into a lot of companies, being in the staffing industry, where we're walking into these clients, these companies, and they're saying to us like, hey, once upon a time, it was against our policy to have headphones and cell phones on the work floor, and now they're changing that rule, and they're saying it's making a huge difference for our workforce, where people are happy to come to work now because they can have their headphones in while they're working. Obviously taking into consideration safety and all that,
right?
But they're making that change because they want people to feel comfortable, and that helps you feel comfortable just having a headphone in, listening to your podcast, hopefully listening to this podcast, your favorite podcast. They're at work listening to that, and they're doing their job, and they're still being productive.
Right.
And in a lot of places, I've walked into companies where they're like, we're seeing them even be more productive because of this. So, being able to kind of think outside the box, you don't think that's a huge thing for people, but obviously,
and
data proves it is.
Yeah, for sure.